Hey there. I thought I'd come on and talk about twin flames and separation and dating other people and having sex with other people and things like that. I was actually brought to this topic. Sorry, got gum in my mouth. I was brought to this topic because just thinking through and myself and self-healing and introspection. Excuse me. At times I just let my mind wander. So this morning I was in the bathtub and I thought about how is it true that I could earnestly know and believe in my heart that I am meant for one specific individual and then give myself fully in body, sexually, and in person to someone else? And how can both be true? And it was a lesson that was really dynamic in my life and it was juicy. And I was reflecting back to like the experience and what it felt like. And I thought I'd come on because for so many of us, we don't understand the dynamics of divine partnership and it scares us. What do you do when someone shows up in your life who is treating you exactly the way that you desire your twin to treat you, your divine counterpart, the one that's really in your heart, whether they have a name or face or not? The true love of your heart, the desire of your heart. What do you do when someone else seems to be playing that role? You want it, but then you have to prevent yourself from having it somehow. Or maybe just they're not giving it. Whatever story or narrative is there because there's a lesson that you're meant to learn. And we don't always have to learn from pain or trauma or betrayal or, hard boundaries. We don't have to learn the hard way anymore. That's the beauty of being conscious and having a conscious relationship as a conscious, enlightened individual. So when you're presented with someone who seems to be ticking off all the boxes except one, you don't even understand the one until you engage the energy. And then once you see that thing, you're like, that's actually out of alignment with my values. And so you communicate yourself clearly. And so for me to get very granular, it was someone who treated me like the queen I believe I am. I know that I am, and really coming very correct and very respectful. And we were intimate, and it was actually better than this is adult, but better than my other experience because for me, I have to be fully 100% in. And me with this other person who is not my divine counterpart, we had created from the start these parameters on the way that we would engage one another because we knew ultimately that we were not each other's forever. And we articulated that for various reasons. Mine is because my heart and my desire is to be with this other person. And so, in having that open container, we developed a very rapid and intense connection, and it healed parts of me that I had started to believe that were broken, like my sexuality, like my experience and desire to be pursued and wooed and loved, and having someone fully respect me and my femininity and seeing me in my fullest gift of channeling energy, of being a little woo woo, being really, really smart and super talkative, essentially just being myself. And so I got to show up and twirl. And the way that was reflected back to me was it met the needs that I had in the moment. And then as I continue to stay centered on who I am and how I feel as I engage the energy, then I saw that, yeah, it's great right now. It feels good right now. But as a divine human, I know I'm not just living for the right now. I live in the right now because I live from my higher self. My higher self, my higher vision, my higher desire of my heart is to be in divine union on this dimension with my counterpart. And so I was allowing divine energy to leak to this right now relationship with the intention that we would never create forever. So why create there anyway? If it's not forever, it's not true. But what it did do is unlock my forever. And that's how all things can be true. You can bring things together. So I remember I asked the gentleman to come over, and I met him at that level that we were at before I had changed my mind, before I turned the openness to a very beautiful space, alchemized it. And I actually wrote down a couple of bullet points, and I was very clear. And initially I said, I have a lot to say. I just want to kind of work my way through it. And then I'd love to hear how you feel. And so I essentially, pointed out that why pretend that we're falling in love if that's never our intention? And then, you know, I pointed out how it was a gift and how it, my connection with that individual, like I've never felt more sexy from the inside out. It didn't matter what he did, like I, you know, and that's the beauty of being so sovereign and so just embodied. You're just free and in the moment and like light me up in a very healthy way, a very sexually liberated way. And that's important because in my forever union, like you best believe, I don't want to have any opportunity to doubt that I know I can turn it on and that it's perpetually lit. How about that? Anyway, so I let him know that that's how he created a space to where I could heal in that regard. And so that was very honoring to him because when you know the dynamics and you know what feeds someone is just reflecting back their true energy. So there's that. And then I also just was very open and honest about what I saw for our future. So that's when I had told him a story. He's in leadership in his company. And I had told him a story that when I teach boundaries, many times I teach it, I explain how we use it as like a brick wall, or we use it as just like stop sign. Well, a stop sign or a brick wall or whatever is also the same thing as a white picket fence. And so I was letting him know because I talked about how I teach that in class, how you approach and how you erect a boundary. Is it defensive? Is it offensive? Is it what is it? It's a line. It's a demarcation of territory or markation. And so in our connection, I was like, yeah, we are not going to continue in this regard. And that's the decision I'm making. But I say we because I know it affects you and I would love to hear how you feel about it. And what it looks for me, or sorry, before I said I'd love to hear how you feel about it, I said what it looks like for me is that we're going to take some time away from each other. And then when we do, if we do decide to continue hanging out, because there is a lot of relational intimacy and fun, so much fun. That's why one of the reasons why I felt safe. Anyway, it's like we can continue to do that, but let's let the dust settle. Let's take a few weeks to not. And he was he was very receptive to that. And then I said afterward, maybe we can just do all the fun things, but stop it before we get to this certain line. I would feel free to do that. And he was like, "Well, I just don't." And he was so honest and open. And in my heart, I'm not attached. And so that's what I feel dating and having sex with others when you are in very full awareness of your enlightenment, like you're a star seed, or that you are very spiritual, or bring it back down to earth, and that you're just a godly human, a godly woman. I speak to the divine feminine, but it's energetic. And so depending on your perspective and your vernacular, you can interpret it how you will, and how allow it to resonate in the way that it does. So back to that situation, thinking about it in the shower or in the bath today, I found myself in a space of gratitude, in that learning from pleasure is really fun as long as you continue to learn. I think that's when we outsource our power, when we start to rely on those things that are pleasurable, because it's just an outward manifestation of who you actually really are on the inside. And so understanding your full consciousness is that you magnetize everything to you for your ultimate good, your ultimate self-awareness, because knowing who you are, you know that you are love, and you know that God is love, and you know that your human is here to express the energy of love through your experience of the energy, this dimension, which is your emotion. And that's how you interpret your energy, is by labeling it and creating as you speak. So that's what I have for you today. I love you and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, so the fuck am I? I don't know really what this is going to turn into, but I'm very happy to be here. All right, that's my gift and I'm sticking to it. Bye.